Within the construction industry, attitudes regarding safety have varied widely in the past. Safety practices were derived mostly from ideas of employers and employees as to what constitutes a safe job. Tunneling has its own peculiar risks as well as some that are common to other types of construction, like mining. But still, it must be recognized as a specialized underground construction effort. A safety program focusing on appropriate and effective methods of controlling workplace hazards in underground construction and a highly qualified group or competent personnel must be implemented to monitor the tunnel safety. A competent person is one capable of identifying existing and predictable workplace hazards, who is authorized to take corrective action to eliminate them. A competent person is responsible for the following: evaluating if air monitoring needs to be performed before employees enter the work area, testing the atmosphere for flammable limits before restoring power and equipment, and also before returning to work after a ventilation system has been shut down due to hazardous levels of flammable gas or methane, inspecting the work area for ground stability, inspecting all drilling equipment prior to each use, and inspecting hauling equipment before each shift and visually checking all hoisting machinery, equipment, anchorages, and rope at the beginning of each shift and during hoisting. Now, being adequately trained in tunnel construction safety is vital to every worker as it comes with numerous safety hazards. Hard physical labor can cause bodily injuries. Roof falls or cave-ins can cause head injuries, crush injuries, suffocation, or death. Exposure to crystalline silica dust and cement dust can lead to respiratory, lung, or skin problems. Exposure to chemical vapors can cause lung problems, including chemical pneumonitis, which can lead to respiratory failure and death if left unchecked. Exposure to radon can cause lung cancer. Lastly, oxygen-deficient atmospheres can contribute to breathing problems such as asthma. Now, what are the 7 important tunnel safety strategies? First, make sure your employees are trained to notice hazards. OSHA recommends having one trained staff member or a competent person on site at all times during tunneling projects to identify potential hazards. Take it one step further by making sure all of your workers are trained to identify common hazards and deal with them appropriately. Second, stay in close contact with crews. OSHA requires that employers make themselves available to crews at all times in case safety issues arise. It is also an excellent idea to regularly check in with the tunneling crews about how projects are going and how safe they feel on the job. The third is to make your check-in, check-out procedures as efficient as possible. It is critical to always keep records of head counts of any workers underground. Make sure that at least one employee is above ground if any other employees are underground. Having a clear, efficient procedure in place for project managers to keep tabs on employees who are working in underground areas will help you ensure the protection of all the workers. Fourth, regularly clear out rocks and other debris that may cause injuries. It is also best to have a staff member carefully inspect and remove loose rocks and debris from all underground areas and surrounding above-ground areas per OSHA guidelines. Ground support structures should also be regularly inspected to make sure they do not need to be repaired or replaced. Fifth is to get employees on board with fire prevention. Make sure that all employees know where the fire extinguisher is and know where flammable chemicals and equipment are being stored at all times. You need to make sure the workers know that smoking is strictly prohibited in areas where flammable equipment and chemicals are stored. Employers must post signs prohibiting smoking and open flames where such hazards exist. Sixth, ensure that proper illumination and ventilation must be supplied. In general, fresh air must be supplied to all underground work areas, an amount sufficient to prevent any dangerous or harmful accumulation of dust, fumes, mists, vapors, or gases. A minimum of 200 cubic feet of fresh air per minute must be supplied for each employee underground. Mechanical ventilation with reversible airflow must be provided in all of these work areas, except where natural ventilation is clearly adequate. Employers must assign a competent person to perform required air monitoring and to determine proper ventilation and quantitative measurements of potentially hazardous gases. Also, in all construction operations, the rule requires that proper illumination be provided during tunneling operations. When explosives are being handled, acceptable portable lighting equipment must be used within 50 feet of any underground heading. Emergency lighting, such as an acceptable portable hand or cap lamp, must also be provided to workers in their work areas unless natural lighting or an emergency lighting system provides adequate light for escape. And seventh, make sure that the rescue team is available for emergencies. When there are fewer than 25 employees underground at one time, employers must provide or make available in advance one 5-person rescue team on site or within a half-hour's travel time. But with 25 or more crews at one time, have at least 2 5-person teams ready. Employers must ensure that rescue teams are familiar with job site conditions. Rescue team members must be qualified in rescue procedures, have practice donning and in the use of firefighting equipment and breathing apparatus.